Yo, I'm Cam Walker, running back for the Seattle Seahawks.
Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks.
DK Metcalf.
KJ Wright. Hey, Burleson. You're watching NORBFAM.
You're watching NORBFAM.
What's going on, everybody? This is NORBFAM coming at you on this Monday. Monday after, boy, what a weekend. What a last few days. We haven't even officially started the free agency period, but it's already been a crazy roller coaster ride for all the Seahawks fans out there. I'm sure you guys have been feeling the same way. Finally having some time to process all this since everything really started taking off back in Wednesday when the first news broke about Tyler Lockett and then DK Metcalf saying he wanted to be traded. And then all of a sudden, Geno Smith goes to the Raiders. And then we're all wondering what's going to happen next. And then DK Metcalf goes to the Steelers. And then we're like, oh, the sky's falling. Rebuild. And then all of a sudden, Sam Darnold gets signed to the Seahawks as their brand new quarterback. So, man, it has just been like up and down, left and right, trying to make sense as to what happened. How did this all come to be what it is? And who was telling the truth? Who was this? And who should I be upset with? Because the emotions have been kind of all over the place. But bottom line is, things have stabilized a little bit, at least in terms of the most important position, relatively quickly. So we're going to break this down. I'll give you some thoughts of what I think about the latest move, which is the Sam Darnold signing. Was it a good move? Was it a bad move? Do you like it? Do you not like it? It seemed like the reactions from everywhere are quite varied. But I'll give you my overall thoughts on what I think, where we stand right now, and what we need to do to make it so that all these moves make some sense. Appreciate you guys tuning in here tonight to join me on my channel. I will be taking your calls. I should really put the phone number here so you guys can see it. There we go. If you want to call in, this is a reaction show in addition to my sharing your thoughts. And so I already got PDX Cam on the phone line, waiting to jump on here. But I also got people on the Discord. I'll try to chime in with you guys as well and try to manage the chaos that is ensuing in here as well as everywhere else. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd love if you would do that. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future videos, because there's going to be a lot coming in the next few days, I'm sure. And, of course, lead up to the draft, potentially one of the biggest, most important drafts the Seahawks will have. It seems like every year I say that. That's the most important draft the Seahawks have had. Oh, no. This year, the most important draft. It seems like every year it's the most important draft, right? This one in particular, though, because I think there's a lot at stake with the fact that we've given up so much in terms of two of our most recognizable players, getting draft picks back for them, and what they do with those draft picks is going to be kind of the big question. So, so here we go. Let me give you my quick thoughts, and I appreciate you guys blowing up the chat already. You guys are Johnny on the spot here, like Richard Jaramillo. He wants Tyler Lockett back. And you're not the only one who said, maybe we should bring Tyler Lockett back. We'll talk about that. I just think if they thought there was a way to bring him back, then why would we have let him go in the first place? Kind of a weird combination of moves there, but you never know, right? Got to get him off the books, and then, hey, welcome back. Robert Stevens, Aiden Lawson, we need wide receivers and O-line. Agreed. Ray Broderson, what's up? Yeah, I'm here. Gridflow says, Sam is horrible. If it's a big game, he can't play. You obviously have short-term memory, remembering the last game that Sam Darnold played in. We all watched that horrible loss against the Rams when they came in as one of the hottest teams in the NFC. Andrew Nguyen, what's up? DH Lightning Bolt. AD, what's going on? Jay Sharma. Private Girl, Uma Jade in the house. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, Seahawks Media. Sarah says we better get Will Fries, not Vexo. On the Park Sports, Jake Wood, Ben Braun, Daniel Kirk, Robert Stevenson, Jackson Miller, Skyblade, Night Fox, Aunt M, Auntie M, Kyle Brabant, Seahawks Media, welcome back. Sports Channel Dude says Seahawks fan for a while, but now I really feel bad for y'all. This is not good. Interesting. Used to be a Seahawks fan. That's like the people who say, I used to watch you, Norb, when I was a kid, implying that I don't watch you anymore, but I used to. This guy used to be a fan of the Seahawks, now he doesn't. Let's see. Yeah, Aunt M. Yeah. Base Tugboat 2675. Darnold, not an upgrade. We're going to talk about that. Out of the Park Sports. And hits keep on coming. All right. Old Buddha of Wisdom says, trust the plan. Well, that's what we've been doing. Prestige Shogun. Norb, been watching you since second grade. I'm a senior in high school now. Well, I appreciate you've been saying I'm still watching you because, like I said, I've run into so many people who are like high school and college. Man, I used to watch you way back when I was a kid. I was like, well, why'd you stop? I'm still here, man. Sky Aviation, what's up? Narendra Managaran. There is no plan, clearly. Okay. All right. I'm going to walk through just... Here's my understanding now, because so much we were just reacting at the moment, and all you can do is go off of what is happening right now, and you just have all these thoughts going on. What are the Seahawks doing, and what's DK doing, and what's Geno doing? So let's kind of just break this down into its little pieces as the phone lines continue to fill up. All right, first things first, right? We all kind of knew Tyler Lockett was probably going to be out, right? Production's down. He's been here for 10 years. His cap number was out of this world. It was owed like $33 million. There was no way we were going to bring him back on that number. So it was either Tyler Lockett said, hey, I'll play for peanuts. Just have me back for another year. Well, he doesn't have to do that, right? And we don't really know. Does Tyler Lockett really want to keep playing? Does he want to play for another team? Or is he just like, I'm just happy to take my stuff, call it a year, call it a season, and retire? At this point, that's all we know. Will he surprise us and continue to play again with another team or our team or some wild deal? We'll see. But that was kind of a foregone conclusion. I figured that was going to happen. The DK Metcalf thing, bad timing on his camp to spoil the Tyler Lockett goodbye party to announce that he wants to trade like 30 minutes after they just announced it. Tyler Lockett, thank you. All of a sudden, DK wants to trade. Bad form. I'm sure that the Seahawks didn't appreciate that very much. But nonetheless, DK Metcalf wants to be traded. What prompted this? Well, I think, and this goes to the Geno trade as well, is that much of all of us were thinking, at least I know a lot of Seahawks fans share the same feeling, that we all thought that, at least I thought Tyler Lockett would be gone. DK, you felt like a deal could be worked out, and then Geno Smith, there would be some kind of friendly team deal that everybody would find a way to work it out. Even though both DK and Geno were going to have high numbers to play with, especially in the receiver market, because we'd just seen the numbers for the receivers going up astronomically. The same thing with the quarterbacks, right? It happens every season. And we're seeing it more now, even with other non-quarterback positions. Myles Garrett getting the highest paid amount for a non-quarterback, upwards of that $30 to $40 million range. I mean, it's crazy. That's like, this is a great time to be a professional football player, man. Peak earning potential for sure. But the thing that I think we always assumed was that everybody wanted to work it out. We believed it, and I still now. At first, I was like, I don't know if I trusted anything that John Schneider and the coaches were saying. It was all BS. But I think at the time they said it back in the combine, when asked about DK and Geno, when they said, "Yeah, I think they will be back with the team," in so many words, I think they really meant that at the time. Now, of course, they probably had contingencies just in case, but I think that was the plan going in. What changed really was, I think it all just came down to money. Geno obviously felt like he deserved more. He knows this is probably his last big contract, so he wanted not only money, but he wanted years, and I think the Seahawks wanted to keep it to a manageable, keep it to 2 years and not 3. Word is that they offered Geno close to $40 to $42 million, pretty close to what he is ultimately going to, I'm sure, get from the Raiders. But 2 years, and Geno, it sounds like, didn't want to accept anything less than 45 in 3 years. So, and the negotiations fell apart pretty quick, and then Geno basically said, well, that's my price, so if you're not going to pay me that, then just trade me. So, obviously, the Seahawks got to get something, and, Pete Carroll must have also planted a bug, and they're like, hey, if things don't work out, let me talk to him. I'm the guy who resurrected his career. So, and the same thing with DK, right? I think there's still people thinking, oh, well, maybe DK will come back because Geno Smith, if he doesn't, since he's moving now, maybe there'll be more money for DK. Maybe it'll solve that problem. But obviously, that wasn't the case. Maybe he didn't want to play here at all. Maybe he just was done with Seattle. Supposedly, what he wanted, his criteria, DK Metcalf said, and this is not verbatim, this is just what multiple reports are alluding to, is that A, he wanted to play for a contender. B, he wanted to have a more stable quarterback situation. And 3, obviously, want to get paid, right? And there was a third one, if you don't include the money to it, is that he wanted to play somewhere warm. That was I don't know. That seemed like a funny, and I want green M&Ms on my table every day when I come to work. So what's funny is he goes to the Steelers, right? And we get for Geno, we get a third-round pick. For DK, we get a second-round pick. I'm actually thinking that's actually a pretty decent return because I was not expecting a lot of people. Sam Darnold, Infos 253, a lot of people have said we better get a first-round pick for DK or else it's not a good trade. I was saying, I'd be happy if we get more than a third because history tells us that you can't really expect receivers who want to trade. Getting a first-round pick is not really the history doesn't really tell us that that's what you're going to get. And sure enough, that was the case. We get a second-round pick, so I think that's about what it is. And people are like, upset at the Seahawks for doing that, but it's like, what are you supposed to do? You can only bargain with whatever the buyer is willing to pay. And in this case, if the Steelers, since they seem to be the most aggressive, wanted him the most, been kind of made out there that the Steelers wanted DK, that they were pretty aggressive about getting him. So that's the most hungry buyer, right? But if they don't want to pay more than a second-round pick, well, what's your option? The only thing you say, okay, well, then we're not trading him. And then what? And then you're stuck with a unhappy DK who doesn't want to be here, who is already emotionally, gets worked up as it is. Do you really think the Seahawks are going to keep him and force him to play his last year under a contract that he doesn't want to have anything to do with? No, that would be a disaster. So they're kind of forced to just go with it. And you got to get something for him. So that was probably the best deal. So what do there's really no other option. If the market isn't asking for more than that or willing to pay more than that, kind of hands are tied, right? Same thing with Geno. The only leverage you have is to force them to play out their last year under the terms that you have. And that means you're having a very unhappy player playing their final year of their contract. It's not an ideal situation for both sides, really. John Schneider in the super chat. Yeah, he's just tonight on my chat tonight. Interior linemen are overrated and overpaid. Yes, John, we've heard you say that before. Thank you for reminding us that that's how you feel. But I hope you've had a change of heart since after watching the debacle that was the Seahawks interior line situation last year. You got to pay or draft high because you get what you pay for, unless you have some really amazing scouts really working it this time, because that was the weakest part of the Seahawks O-line and really was the reason that we're in this position that we are today. No playoffs, players leaving, and no run game, and a lot of holes to fill. So anyway, that's where we're at here. Where are we at here with this? Where was I? Lost my train of thought. Okay, so that's kind of the deal, right? So Geno goes, we get a third-round pick for him. So, and then as of last night, so we're stuck going, oh my gosh, the DK just went to the Steelers. Oh, that's not going to finish. So he goes to the Steelers, and the Steelers are basically, in his list of criteria, right? He's going to get paid, so that part's pretty much covered. But A, he wants to go to a contender. Are the Steelers really a contender? That's debatable, right? B, he wants to go to a team with a stable quarterback situation. The Steelers don't even have a quarterback right now. They're not bringing back Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields wants to test the free agent market. They were in the same boat as we were, not knowing who our quarterback's going to be, and they still don't know. Rumor has it that they're talking to Aaron Rodgers, but we'll see. I'm sure that will get worked out pretty soon. So he's going to a team that doesn't have a quarterback, but he has a really good opposite receiver. You got Pickens over there and DK. Well, for a quarterback, that's pretty nice options to have on the outside. Those two speedsters who can catch everything. Well, one can catch a lot, and DK catches a few. So that's a pretty good scenario for a quarterback to want to jump into. So that brings us to today. Sam Darnold signs to the Seahawks, 3-year deal, about 110 million, I think, 110.5 million. 3 years, 55 million guaranteed. So it's a 3-year deal, but I think it's one of those ones that they could technically get out of it after the third year, since it's not fully guaranteed money. So, as of this morning, when 100 is it 100.5? I thought it was more than that. I've been seeing mixed reports. It's kind of all over the place, man. When I was looking at this, Let me see. I thought it was. Oh, yeah, you're right. 100.5. My bad. 100.5. That's pretty good. Because as of last night, when we were just kind of all wondering what the heck are the Seahawks going to do, you had three options, right? It was either A, you pick up somebody in free agency who's floating around out there, Sam Darnold being the front runner of that. B, you just don't pick up anybody, you get somebody in the draft. Or C, you roll with a total just top of the heap guy, stick with Sam Howell, and kind of just tell the whole world that, yeah, you know what, we're just going to rebuild this year. Well, I'm glad they didn't go for the rebuild option, because that means your team is going to suck pretty bad. And as a Seahawks ticket holder, I'm not a fan of sucking for the draft. Just that's a miserable way to live when you only have a whole year just to do that. So you got so that was not going to be a fun move. The draft, not a great year for the quarterback draft, right? We don't have that much draft capital. You'd have to give up a lot to get something. So not the best way to go is to get your quarterback for this coming year. But if you had to go for that, leaves you free agency, which is ultimately what they did. And, I think I didn't like it at first. I wasn't a big fan. I was kind of like you guys, some of you out there that had the short term, like, Sam Darnold, not that great. What are we doing here? But looking at it, Sam Darnold, I would say this much. Sam Darnold and Geno Smith, if you put them side by side, I'd say they're pretty comparable, right? Sam Darnold had the better year last year, obviously with the wins. They were 14-3, went to the playoffs, then blew it in the playoffs. MVP candidate, like 10th player in the voting. Had a great year. His one good year out of a bunch of so-so years. Geno Smith obviously didn't make the playoffs. Record wasn't as good. Had not as good as stats. Close to yardage, but more turnovers. But if you were to flip the two and put each other in each other's teams, I would contend to say that I bet Geno Smith would have had a similar year as Sam Darnold did. And Sam Darnold would have come in here in the same exact situation if he just literally just did a trading places. Sam Darnold would have had not a 14-3 year. He would have had something similar to what Geno Smith had. Point being is that I think these guys are on similar levels in terms of just quality of quarterback. And you could argue like one might be better at this than the other, but they both can make the throws. I think they're both pretty good. I think Darnold might actually be a little bit better in terms of going through his progressions and getting rid of the football versus Geno sometimes waits a little too long to throw it, which results in those interceptions sometimes when it is his fault. But the biggest difference, though, is that A, Sam Darnold's cheaper, and B, he's also younger, right? He's got like 7 years younger. So we know Geno's kind of at the end of his, reaching the end of the tunnel, but Darnold's actually got quite a few years left. So with this contract being that it's for less money, it's technically 3 years, as you said, $100 million. So that's roughly around 33 point something if you split it up, but 55 guaranteed. That really means that, I think the Seahawks could potentially, keep him for 2, 3 if it's working out. And they could draft, maybe they have to draft this year. Maybe they draft next year, knowing they could kind of ride under him for another year or two. And next year's quarterback draft will be a different story. So this deal didn't look as good in the beginning, but I'm starting to like it a little bit more the more I look at it. It's kind of like one of those, those seeing eye puzzles where you stare at it for a while, you're trying to get the 3D to work up, and very popular in the 90s, I think. First you look at it and go, God, this thing's blurry, this sucks. I can't see anything. This doesn't make any sense. And you go, oh, wait a second. Oh, I see it now. Oh, okay, I get it. It makes sense now. It's kind of how I feel about this deal. So I think the Seahawks made the most of the situation that they had. And I do actually think that they were pretty honest about where they were going with it, because I really thought Mike McDonald, I thought he's not the type to lie to your face. He's a pretty honest guy, makes moves. If things aren't working, he changes, gets rid of that player. Linebackers not getting it done, they're out. He didn't seem like the kind of guy who would just simply lie about something if they really didn't plan. Like Geno, he wouldn't say, "Oh, Geno's our guy. I'm sticking with him. He's our quarterback." And then suddenly, it's like just say it just to say it, and then completely change tune in the course of a few days. I really think that they were planning to roll Geno, and they just didn't expect that he wouldn't be as willing to negotiate. So if you're going to place some blame, you got to spread it around. DK wanted money, Geno wanted money, or wanted to play somewhere else, whatever it is. But clearly, not everybody wanted to make this work out. And if you don't work together on it, that's what happens. You know, you walk away from the table and somebody's going to say, basically, I don't want to be here anymore because it's not happening. So there you go. That's kind of the summary of it. And yeah, so looking forward to next year, as I'm getting ready to take your calls. And Rouser, thank you for the super chat. Paranormal activity will rise in Seattle with Sam. Paranormal activity will rise in Seattle with Sam. I'm not sure what that means. Paranormal activity. You want to see ghosts? Is that what you mean? He's going to start seeing more ghosts when he's back there? I guess that's assuming that the offensive line is going to be worse. So really, I think we cannot really judge the qualities of these moves, at least up to date now, until we see three things. We will know by November or so, maybe even October. We will know if these moves worked out, because by then we would have seen how Sam Darnold's performing, and B, how our second and third round picks that we got from trading Geno and DK, what they yield. You really can't say whether either of those trades were any good or not till we see what we get back for them, right? Because if John drafts a killer interior lineman who just like transforms the line and all of a sudden there's pass protection, we can run the football, we'd be like, you know what? We're better off than we were last year now with a quarterback who, is actually cheaper. We're actually having a better offense. And then maybe we get another weapon to bolster up the offense or whatever it might be. We're going to have a lot more moves to come. So those two, at least directly, we'll know where we stand come October, November. At least those three specific moves. Sam Darnold, second round pick, third round pick. Just keep an eye on that, and we'll have to see how that measures up when we look back and go, remember when we were talking about that moves, how that worked out? Who did we get? How are they doing? We'll have to look back and see back here on March 10th if we realize, oh, that was brilliant. What a brilliant move by John Schneider. Oh my God, we just completely blew it. We had DK, and now we got this bust. What a waste. So that's kind of the main thing. And then, of course, the rest of the draft. We'll have to see how that all plays out as we continue down this crazy road, which is only just beginning. So John Snyder is back on the super chat. Thank you again. I always lie. I wanted Geno and DK gone since week 9, he says. Well, maybe they do all lie. I don't know. We've heard it before when Russell Wilson, I thought Russell was here to stay. Russ says he was staying. Pete Carroll said we were staying. Everybody's saying he was staying. And clearly they had other plans well in the works, but they couldn't tell everybody about it. And it really can't, because it's a poker game, right? If you tell everybody what you're going to do, well, then you lose all your ability to negotiate and pull off deals and surprise people and leverage and all that stuff. So I kind of get it. You have to kind of just accept the fact that you really just can't believe too much stock into what coaches and players are saying on the record, because it just doesn't mean much, because no one's going to be completely honest. You can't handle the truth. Actually, what I really want to say is we can't give you the truth because we'd be stupid too, because we would be doing our jobs. So that's kind of how it goes. All right. That's kind of my overall thoughts on it. So I'm a little less emotional. I'm more settled down. I'm actually kind of like, okay, you know what? For all things being as they are, this hasn't been a horrible weekend thus far. Sam Darnold in place with Geno is not a bad move after all. So let's go to the phone calls. Let's start off with PDX Cam, because he was the first one in line. Let's cross my fingers that this works. PDX Cam, please tell me you can hear me. PDX Cam, what's up?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Okay, PDX Cam. Well, we talked over the weekend when I did the initial, reaction to the Geno trade, but we haven't talked since DK went to the Steelers and Darnold came here. So now that we're at this stage, how do you feel?
I would say I was more intrigued. I was more like a bit shocked at first, just because I had kind of heard the things about Darnold and being connected to the Seahawks, but I was like, I at first looked at it as like, news outlets pushing headlines. That's kind of how I read it at first.
Right.
And funny enough, it was my brother-in-law who was the first person to contact me about it, saying that Darnold had been signed by the Seahawks, and I was a bit shocked.
I
don't have a full opinion yet, and honestly, I think at least from my end, I want to wait until after the draft to kind of see how I think about it. Just because in the initial reaction, like you said, everybody was in those first couple hours. It's always emotional reaction first.
Right. Yeah. Everybody hates to see your favorite players or the people you've kind of grown attached to go, right? Unless you really can't stand that player. Yeah. There's always something about that. I'm that way. I tend to I want Pete to stay a little longer. I wanted Russell to stay forever. I'm not a guy I want Bobby to stay. I'm just kind of I'm kind of a hoarder that way anyway. I keep all my junk way past the time that I should have it. So I'm just kind of that nature. But some people are I think Mike McDonald is not that way. He's like, if it's not working out, let's go a different direction. Let's cut bait and move on. But yeah, I hear you. That's, I think, when most people's reactions are, what are they doing? How could they do this to us? Is your first reaction, right?
If I've learned anything, honestly, learning from the whole Geno Smith experiment when they first traded Russell Wilson, time is the ultimate deciding factor because when they trade Russell and found out when we were thinking Geno was going to be the starting quarterback, I'm not going to lie, I crapped all over Geno. I thought
a lot of people didn't until that first year, and he kind of proved everybody wrong, right? Comeback player year and everything.
And so I have to do the same thing with Darnold, where I have to wait until I think is a right time, and that's going to be after the draft. Because right now we're only seeing part of the picture. We're not seeing the full thing yet. We're still in a time right now, and only a couple days of free agency, and this has to be the most insane free agency out of this team that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, since maybe the Russell trade, probably the most earth-shaking. Usually the Seahawks aren't the ones making headlines early in free agency. This time, while they haven't, Sam Darnold's that's a big signing, but normally they're pretty quiet in the early days of the free agency period, and they were rocking the place since last week. So, yeah, I'm with you.
They're not aiming for top guys.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. They're not going for the top. They never go for the very top, most expensive free agency guys. But Sam Darnold is exactly cheap. Cheap for a quarterback, but still, there's a lot of money being invested there. And I think to add to that, to evaluate whether this trade is any good, we have to see how our second and third round picks that we get from Geno and DK turn out. But we also have to see how will DK and Geno do in their now future teams. Because, like I said, when I was first upset at the Seahawks, I was like, well, I want Geno to succeed, with Pete Carroll and at the Raiders. But now I'm kind of like, Geno's kind of the one who said, I want more money, and if you don't pay me, I'm not going to be here. I'm kind of feeling like, you know what, maybe this is more on him because for whatever reason, maybe he got tired of all the people hating on him because Geno got a lot of unwarranted hate from people. Maybe he got tired of that. Maybe he was like, I want to go somewhere where I'm appreciated. But, we'll see. I'm a Raiders fan who's been a buddy of mine since kindergarten, and he does not like the move for either team. So I think he was more looking to try to get somebody young and not get, a quarterback like Geno, who, again, we know that's a limited shelf life there. But, yeah, same with DK. If DK lights it up with whoever's going to be the quarterback at the Steelers and it's just running down the sideline, scoring, touchdowns at will, we'll definitely be wondering, how the heck did we misuse DK Metcalf? That's the part that I just don't hope doesn't happen, because I'd hate to feel like we had this amazing player in our hands and we screwed it up. We didn't maximize his potential. That would really suck, right? So if they kind of have struggles, we were like, well, you know what? Just kind of like the Russell thing, right? Russell went and everything worked out in terms of we got a haul of picks for Russell. Russell goes and struggles. They hand him the keys to the castle, special office, blah, 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 red carpet, and it completely backfired. So that kind of worked out really great for us. We were kind of inside going, hey, yeah, take that, Russ. We got the best of that deal. Well, this deal is not quite as comparable, but nonetheless, there's still that something where the players that didn't want to be here, you don't exactly want them to succeed elsewhere, because if they really were like, I really don't want to be here anymore, then why should we wish them success in their next team when that's kind of the feeling you get from the player wanting to leave because it was just all about money. I know it's a business. The reality is probably if any of us were in those positions and we were Geno or DK and we had those skills and we could be in the NFL making millions and millions, we would probably be doing the same thing. Like, hey, man, I'm a great quarterback. The line sucked. You all know that. The running game sucked. You guys basically made me have to try to win the games every time. So I had to throw the ball. I was getting sacked. I was doing this. I was doing that. And you expect me to win the game every time when I have to throw the ball 40 times and not get intercepted and get killed back there. I want to go somewhere where I'm going to get paid for that. You know, I would probably feel the same way. So I guess it's easy to throw stones, you know, when it's the other way around. But if you're actually in the same position, I think we'd be all guilty of the same thing. All it comes down to that money.
It's that clear line between a player's mentality and a fan's mentality.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
both
As
sides are gonna
fans, we think the players just love everything about us and want to be here as much as we love them, and that they just want to do what's good for the fans, the community, and the team that's all kumbaya and happy. But the reality is the money part kind of ruins all that because there's only so much money to go around. There's only so much money you can make at certain opportunities. And if you don't take advantage of it, you might miss your window to go, I could get really paid right here. This is my lottery ticket right here. If I don't capitalize, I might get too old to get that really high amount. Not that we can relate to that because not too many of us are, making $40 million a year and can relate to, oh, well, I'm only getting paid $33 million. You're insulting me with that offer, $35 million. So, yeah, it's a whole new different world. But we have to accept it as a business, and we're going to get hurt feelings if we get too attached. So if I feel bad for the people who ordered a new Geno Smith jersey that they just got for Christmas and he's gone. So it's part of the deal. All the players eventually will be gone, but you can always still wear the jersey. Just, tape over the Smith. And if Sam Darnold wears 7, you can just put, Darnold, handwrite a Sharpie Darnold on some tape over the back plate and you'll be just fine.
Just put some duct tape on it.
Yeah. That's a quality looking adjustment to your jersey. That's why I go for the 12. I'll never have to worry about the 12 jersey ever like, oh, the 12's not on team anymore. It'll always be there. So, all right, man. Well, thanks.
The benefit.
Yeah, it is the benefit. So it's kind of a cop-out, but it works for me. All right, man. I'm going to go try and get some other calls here, but thanks again for supporting my channel. I know you're a member of the NORBFAM, and I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, of course, man.
All right. Take care and go Hawks, man. All right, let's go to the Discord now. Let's see if I can get some non-craziness here. Oh, let's go to Henry in New Zealand. All right, Henry, let's try this. All right, got to go to Discord, bring this up. Got everybody in there, but let's go start with Henry. Henry, you there? Can you hear me? Please tell me you can hear me.
G'day, Norm.
Yes, I can be heard. It's working. I can't believe it. First of all, Rouser, though, with a super chat. Another failed Jet quarterback. Zach Wilson to Seattle in 2028. I sure hope not. That's pretty crazy that how many quarterbacks go to die in New York at the New York Jets. That's a vortex, a whirlpool of death for success. It doesn't matter who you are. Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson, Geno Smith. Anyway, it's Henry. So what's your thoughts as you've been tracking this from a distance down there in New Zealand? What do you think of all this? Are you happy with where we stand right now?
I would say yes, I am happy where we are right now. Like you said, Lockett had to go. I kind of knew he was going to go as well.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf, this is going to come off as a very hot take. I think it was worth getting rid of him. I think he was a net negative.
Okay. A lot of people probably agree with you. So to you, his negatives outweighed his positives.
Yes.
And you were kind of okay seeing the end of him.
Yes. For a second round pick, good value.
Yeah.
Now, Geno was a bit more shocking, obviously.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking maybe we plays out the last year and we get someone in 26.
Right. Well, and I guess that's the thing that makes it, again, a little bit less hard to swallow. So we knew Geno wasn't the long-term solution. I think we all thought, let's just give Geno like 2 years, a $30 million a year. That'll work out. I'm sure he's already gotten paid. He got money after he got the starting job. He should be happy with that. I think that was what we all thought. He should be happy with that. And clearly he wasn't. He wanted more than that. He just felt he deserved more than that. Whether that's the case, we will find out when he and Pete Carroll get reunited and that season starts in September in Las Vegas. Will he prove that he really is a good quarterback, which I believe he was. It just was in a bad circumstance, but he kind of has to prove it here in this coming thing. But yeah, I mean, he obviously believed in himself and is kind of betting on himself. And I think Pete Carroll also, they love each other. So he kind of got the guy he wanted, and I'm sure he's happy to be reunited with Pete and happy to be reunited with $45 million a year for 3 years, if that's going to be the final deal. So, okay.
Also,
so all right.
You're signing Ernest Jones?
Oh yeah, I haven't talked about that. We're so focused on the negative that I forgot to mention, that the Seahawks re-signed the most important priority of the offseason. It was so important we didn't even talk about whether we could get Geno or DK back, but getting Ernest Jones re-signed, that was everyone tell you, we got to get this guy back. He was the difference maker when we emptied the linebacker crew. We got to get him back, and we did. They got him and Jaron Reed, so they locked in a couple of their key guys. So the defense is certainly not in the rebuild mode. They're going for, keep the shelves stocked. So I guess the last thing is, you talked about the guys who are leaving. So Sam Darnold, yes, no? Lukewarm?
Yeah, I think he's an upgrade.
Upgrade.
Not a huge upgrade, but based on age alone, it's an upgrade.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, as a whole, we're trending upwards.
So you're happy. You're in a happy place right now.
Yeah, we continue trending upwards with the draft and the actual free agency.
Okay.
And we'll see how we look in week 1.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a positive emotion, and I'm kind of getting there. I'm getting over there. Drebe327 with the super chat. Thank you very much. Says, mark my words, the NFL will have the audacity to give us the Raiders in the preseason. Then since we play Pittsburgh and Minnesota, that'll be week 1 and 2. That's right. We will. That's right. I didn't think about that. We're going to see DK Metcalf. Oh, that'll be a fun little battle, won't it? Rick Woolen on DK Metcalf. We're going to see that. And then, we're not supposed to play the NFC or the AFC West till I think next season, 2026. So we won't get a true matchup. Maybe in a preseason, but they don't play starters anyway, so we probably won't see them anyway. Geno Smith. So, but yes, we will see a DK Metcalf Seahawks rival reunion at some point during the season. That'll be fun. Well, the guys know how to get inside his head, so maybe they can pull some of that Jedi mind trick stuff on DK and get him all pissed off and get kicked out of the game or something. All right, Henry, thanks very much. Let me go to another. Discord person here. Let me go to Andrew. Hey, Andrew from Mock, Georgia. Andrew, what's up?
Hey, nothing much. What's up?
Nothing but the rent. No, it's all good. Very, very interesting what's happening right now. But have you been keeping up with everything? Yeah, what's your take on all the stuff going on?
Oh, well, Norb, we need a new wide receiver because, since I felt sorry that I've been upset with DK and Lockett because the draft picked on them for new teams, man, I was like, we need a new receiver. We need a best wide receiver, the best record to find the players. I felt like I was upset. I'm like, what? Like DK and Lockett?
Oh, I know. It's the emotional loss of these guys who you've kind of been, right? Lockett, 10 years. DK Metcalf, it's 6 years, right? So, I mean, that's you get attached to these guys, right? You always want to feel like, okay, this is the year. We're all going to go to the Super Bowl. And when you don't make it, it's like, oh, man, we never got to experience it with these guys. So that's that finality that's always tough to swallow. But it's inevitable. It happens with everybody. Lockett's actually the rare guy who got to finish his career here. We don't know yet. He might play for another team, but played all 10 years here. I'd be fine with him just hanging up and going, yeah, I was one of those guys. Played with one team, never made any noise, just did my job, and now I'm just moving on to a next chapter of my life. But Lockett's an underrated, great dude that, he's not truly appreciated for how great a receiver he was because he was so quiet. He wasn't a diva. Yeah. He didn't make a lot of noise. So he kind of got overlooked by the national media.
Yeah, I agree, man, because, we need like I said, with the new wide receiver, need a best record, because without any players since we lost the Super Bowl the first time, I mean, we won the first
We won the
Super Bowl
first one and lost the one after that.
2014.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just need a new wide receiver because since we lost in the Super Bowl, but yeah, and you don't want to get like asthma if you tire, like when you're running and all that stuff. We need a better wide receiver. That's why we need to be a better team, or a best player.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that will be one of the priorities for the Seahawks in this draft. Obviously, we got to get the O-line shored up. That's a definite. But we've got receiving spots to fill up. Probably some defensive pass rush would definitely help as well. A nice kick-ass tight end would be great. There's a lot of there's a lot of holes definitely to fill. But all right, let me. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate you, man. Let me go.
I sent you an email though.
What's that?
I sent you email. Did I send you email?
I saw that about the song, right? That you did for your friend, right?
Yes.
No, I got that. That's a very cool gesture, man. Very cool.
Right.
All right. Thanks for the call. Let me go to
much.
Yeah, you bet, man. Let's go to let's see, Jay. I don't know who this Jay doesn't have the full name.
Jay Sharma.
Jay Sharma. Jay, what's up? Your take. Oh, wait, hold on. Before I got to read something here. This is kind of interesting. Somebody, Black Hazard, says, I'm a big Seahawks fan, and I believe DK is not worth all that money. Kind of happy for the Seahawks, and DK is gone, and happy with Sam taking over as quarterback, hoping we take a wide receiver in the first round. I'm not sure about the wide receiver in the first round part. I still feel like we got to do the offensive line, because if the offensive line isn't any better than last year, the receivers and the quarterback won't really make a difference, in my opinion. And it's Serenity 72 with the chat. Thank you so much. Just because they released Lockett doesn't mean they won't bring him back. We have seen Seahawks do it before. That's true. They just had to get him out of that contract, and maybe if, with all things being what it is, maybe he comes back on a more team-friendly deal. We'll see what happens. All right. Okay, Jay. Yeah, your take real quick. What's your feeling where we are now with all said and done? Are you happy with the position we're in right now?
I mean, Tyler Lockett, he did have a good time with the Warriors. I mean, the Seahawks. He had a good time with the Seahawks. I mean, I still have his jersey, but I don't know. I have up and down feelings. But I love the Sam Darnold move. But I'm pretty happy. It's a pretty good move. He can he can help out with all the players that need Jackson Smith and Jake Bugger. He can help him out. And he doesn't throw many interceptions like Geno does. Even though they beat us, I was still upset about that. But he can help us out. So in the wide receiver department, so when he throws there's a perfect backup. Sam Howell can take notes. If he gets injured, Sam Howell can just learn from Sam Darnold himself. So.
Well, there's a stat. I have to credit this to Hugh Millen, he's a former quarterback and makes appearances on KJR Sports Radio in town here. And he was comparing Geno and Darnold, and a lot of their stats matched up similarly. But one that he brought up was that while it's easy to argue that Minnesota had a better just offense in general, more weapons, better offensive line, he did bring up this fact that when pressured, when you compared Arnold to Geno, the pressure rate was about the same, about ranked 28th or 29th, the Vikings, and that's based on his numbers. I don't know if that's true. I'm just going off what he said. So that means that the pressure rate was about the same, but Darnold's quarterback rating in those situations, he was rated 4 versus Geno was rated last, almost 28 or 29 or something like that, meaning that Sam Darnold was much better in terms of what he did with the football when under pressure, as opposed to Geno, which obviously the interceptions often happen when he was under pressure. So I'm sure that's what knocked his rating down quite a bit. So, I guess when you look at that stat, well, maybe that's the kind of thing where maybe Darnold doesn't panic as much. Maybe even when there's pressure, he still does something good with the football. So that's something to hang your hat on to see that perhaps that might come to help the Seahawks in the future here. So.
Exactly.
All right.
And the thing about the DK move, I was quite shocked. And I have a friend who lives in Seattle, is a Pittsburgh fan. he was like roasting me about like how do you feel about DK? How do you feel about the DK? I'm like, all right, buddy, calm down. I get it. I get it. Like, chill. Like,
yeah.
It's so annoying. Most people know the same thing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It is. It just feels like.
I hope we do good with Sam Darnold. Fingers crossed.
I know. I agree. Yeah. Well, we can't do anything about it. If the player doesn't want to be here, you either try to sweeten the pot and give him more money, which of course is tough because then you're taking away from things that you need. Or maybe they ultimately just didn't want to be here for whatever reason it is. We won't really ever know the true reason.
Tyler Lockett, please come back.
What's that?
Tyler Lockett, please come back, please.
Yeah,
I want Tyler Lockett to be back. To be honest,
I do want to throw out there. There is a good chance that what's his name? Cooper Kupp may be released by the Rams. I don't know if he's already been released or it was close to being released, but. Would that be something? This if they don't get Tyler Lockett back, should the Seahawks consider talking to Cooper Kupp, bring him back to Pacific Northwest? Graduated from Eastern Washington University. Would that be a good fit for the Seahawks? He's not the man he was 5-6 years ago when he was a Super Bowl MVP, but could he still be a contributor? Something to ponder. That's floating out there. All right, man. Well, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go take to the phone lines here. Let's go to, where are we here? The 425, you're on live. Who's this? And you're calling from Bellevue, I see. What's your name?
Hello, this is Elliot calling from downtown Seattle, actually. So,
okay.
Nice to be here.
All right, Elliot, thanks for calling in. What's your feeling on where we stand as of right now? Are you happy with the moves, not happy? What's your take?
Let me start by saying that I've been a Seahawks fan for, I would say, right around a decade now. I was at a very young age. Like, my first memories of a Seahawks fan are us winning the Super Bowl. That's kind of where I'm at. And so my family and I have collected jerseys, and now just looking at them today after the events of the past couple of days, a Geno jersey, a DK jersey, Bobby Wagner jersey, Lockett jersey. My favorite jersey that we have is a Zach Miller practice squad autograph jersey, actually. But just looking at all those jerseys and being like, dang, like all these guys are gone. It's kind of a surreal moment, but when you really look at what we got back and the situation there, like, I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure about Sam Darnold long term, but I think that at the very least, we didn't give him a fully guaranteed contract or something close to that. I believe it was around $55 million guaranteed, which is about half of what we gave him overall. So at the very least, it could be a much higher risk situation. Like if you look at what the Falcons gave Kirk Cousins, they gave him about $90 million guaranteed. So we could have done more there and put us in a tougher spot where we're really just betting completely on him.
Right.
And now we're in a place where maybe draft a guy like, people have been throwing around Jackson Dart. I don't know about him, but we can draft somebody and they can kind of study under him at least.
And I don't even know if they have to draft this year. With this deal with Darnold now is they could theoretically draft next year, and they'll have Darnold for at least 2 years, so he'd have at least 1 year to study under him, and maybe he plays out the third year and comes in after that. So that's the benefit of that. If Sam Darnold actually works out and is doing well with the team, well, then they're not as much in a rush. They can take their time and maybe put it off to getting a quarterback next year when it's going to be a little bit more, a better quarterback-rich draft. I wanted to shout this out here from Sarah. Says, rumor has it that Seattle's close to a deal with Will, is it Freeze or Fries? Freeze? He's offensive. He's a guard for the Colts, right? Yeah. I don't know how you pronounce it, Fries or Freeze, but that's the kind of move I would love to see the Seahawks do, like one free agency move with this money that they have. It'd be great to get an experienced lineman. I think they should draft somebody too for the future, but it'd be nice to get somebody who's good now, assuming that he's still a good player, and the Colts just don't want to bring him back. That would be pretty intriguing. So we'll see what happens here. Zay from the Super Chat we needed to use some money for the O-line and then go get Kupp. Okay, so O-line, Cooper Kupp fan right here. I wouldn't, depending on what the price is, of course. Xay also says in the super chat, draft Dart. So Jackson Dart wants to get a QB for this year. And they could do it. I just don't want to give up too much for it. I just don't know if it's going to come down with, Freeze. Sentai Ranger Donnie says, pronounced like freeze with thrice the E and the Z. Freeze. Okay, freeze. Will freeze. All right. Anyway, so overall then despite the feeling of your jerseys going out of style, or I guess becoming relics of the past, you're overall not too disappointed with the way things are going right now.
No, 100%. I almost feel like, I saw last year I was at a Seahawks game and I saw someone take a Russell Wilson number 3 jersey and put a little bit of tape over it, turn it into an 8, and put Kobe Bryant. So, there's tons of possibilities. If Sam Darnold wears number 14, then that's an easy tape right there, Metcalf's jersey. So, but overall, I trust Schneider. He's been in the game for a long time now. I really like where things are going with Mike McDonald. And, I remember I was on a stream about a month ago, and, you were talking about the Grubb situation and our thoughts on that. Overall, like this Clint Kubiak guy, he seems like he knows what he's doing too. So just kind of hope for the best with that. And, go Hawks.
Yeah.
All I got.
All right. Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. Let me go to another line here. Sergio from Vancouver. Let's get Sergio on the phone line here from the 360. Sergio.
Yeah, what's up?
What's up? Welcome to the show, man. A quick shout out real quick to Zay again in the super chat. One last thing, all Seahawks fans, JSN is like that. One last thing, all Seahawks fans, JSN is like that. I think we all know that JSN, it's nice to have at least one good, solid, excellent receiver that we know is going to be here for a while. They just got to build around him and add to that, restock that cabinet. All right, Sergio, what's your feeling? How happy are you today as a Seahawks fan?
Great. I love this move for Seattle. I got my DK jersey. I already taped Darnold over it, but loving this move for Seattle.
Why?
I think it's pretty obvious that we're not going to rebuild. I love Darnold's arm. He can really throw it. He's way better in the red zone. And people say he doesn't handle pressure against the pressure, but I think he was top 10 against the blitz. So that's a plus.
Yeah. Okay. And I did read that stat earlier from Hugh Millen on KJR talking about how when pressured, his quarterback rating is pretty good compared to Geno's, which is not very good when it comes to, how he handles pressure situations. So we are witness to that, obviously. A lot of interceptions and, red zone deficiencies. That was obviously what did Geno in for this season, right? But I still think, different situation. He could have had a much better, result if we had a better line, if we had a running game and all that stuff. So, and I still think that's there. We still got to be better. But I guess what gives me hope going into the season is just the fact that Coach Mike McDonald is here the whole time now. He's here to be part of the entire draft process. B, they got coaches and the offensive coordinator who's experienced, not just like a guy out of college, kind of just getting his feet wet, proven guy, system that's worked, and Clint Kubiak has worked with Sam Darnold. So you got that history together too, that they're familiar with each other. So the system fits each other. And now they can find linemen who fit that system too. The outside zone read with guys, they got to be able to move to the next level. They're kind of built differently than you would if you're just doing a straight up non-outside zone system. And a lot of play action. I feel like this could, if this really works and all these powers that be come together and draft and evaluate talent and draft effectively, then I think our O-line could really take a big jump to go from one of the worst to at least average to above average. If we get to like an above average, that's to us is going to feel like the most awesome line we've ever seen because we've been so bad for so long, right? So, the Eagles have probably the best offensive line in the entire league, right? That's like the creme de la creme. But if we can get somewhere between like average and, just inching towards that, I'll be pretty happy with that improvement. Don't you think?
I think there is rumors going around that Seattle could get a deal done with a Will Freeze.
Freeze. Yeah, I know. I mentioned that too. That was brought up in the super chat, and yeah, that would solve it would solve one of our interior lineman issues right off the bat. So I like that. A proven.
And then I think we go get a left guard in the draft.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden,
yeah, like you said, this whole line can take a huge leap.
Right, and they can get the players they want. And then again, at center, I don't know. What's our center situation? Oluwatimi, is he the guy? Or they were talking about who was our guard pick last year? He played some, but they were talking about moving him to center. Christian Haynes. That they were thinking that they were going to kind of have him take some reps at center. So I don't know. Are they really considering that heavily, or are they going to do more moves to get this up? But yeah, if we get that line, solving the offensive line would solve so many problems, because all of a sudden the running backs would look like, wow, we've got these great running backs. Where'd they come from? Oh, wait, no, they were always there. We just didn't have a line to block for them. And then Sam Darnold will look better because he'll have protection. I mean, just everything gets better. Same, we know this, right? We inherently know this, that the trenches, if your trenches are solid, it makes everybody around them better. And that's why Seattle's finally, Schneider's just got to realize, that everybody he's talking to, that, that whole thing about, you can't overpay for these interior linemen. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you do when you've sucked at it for so long. I like to think so. And he's got a lot of guys, right? There's a lot of guys teaming up with him to make these decisions. So hopefully that's what it turns out to be. But yeah, all right. Well, I'm glad to hear this optimism. So I'm starting to feel that too.
Yep.
All right.
Let's go after Cooper Kupp. Seems like he's being released.
They should at least talk to him about it. I don't know what he would be asking for in terms of, money. He's not the player he used to be, but I still think, kind of like Lockett, I think both of those guys could still play. I think they could still contribute. Just they're not quite as valuable as they were, price-wise. Kick the tires and see, what Cooper Kupp would be interested in. Again, he does have that Washington connection, so that might play as something that'd be interesting for him.
My school counselor was actually teammates with him in Eastern Washington.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, it's pretty cool. And actually, my business partner, 80s Broncos fan, Mike Lorraine, his one of his best friends was a Kupp, and so he's also related to him. I think like a nephew or something like that. So anyway, it's a pretty cool small town connection. So yeah, I wouldn't hate it as long as the price is right. But that would be pretty cool to have him back and to stick it to his former team, right? All right. Well, thanks, Sergio, for calling. Appreciate it, man. Good insight.
Yep.
All right. Let's go to Wallace or Eric. Eric in the 206. Is this Eric?
Yes, it is. How you doing tonight, Norb?
Yo, what's up, Barry? You sound pretty happy. Are you like the last caller, happy about the way the Seahawks, after all this turmoil, how things are starting to move, the direction that they're going?
I like what we did today. I'm hoping we draft the quarterback early on. I guess time will tell, bud.
Yeah, that's for sure. Time will tell. We won't know how these things will really be measured until at least midway for next season. And really, it might take a couple of seasons for these things to really take hold. But we'll know at least right off the bat whether DK and Geno made the right decision wanting to move on. And we'll know whether their draft replacements have turned into something better or worse when they come here. So it'll be fun to see how this, knowing how this all originated, how those draft picks turn out to be, will these guys be stars of the future? And we'll be like, oh man, we sure got rid of DK at the right time. That sure worked out. We definitely got, we sent him back in at just the right time. Or we will be going, man, I sure miss DK. I sure miss Geno, man. We thought it was bad. We thought we had it bad when they were here. Oh, man, this is just worse. That's possible. We could be worse. Yeah. So time will certainly tell. So, yeah, what do you think, Cooper Kupp?
It would be great if he came out here. That would be a great signing for Seattle.
Like I said, it just comes down to money, right? Because I think anybody would take Cooper Kupp if the price was dirt cheap. It's just a question of how much would he be willing to How much is his demands for what he needs to get paid for in order to join a team like the Seahawks? And that's the other thing too, is I think we often, again, like just how we thought that DK and Geno would just naturally want to play here and work it out. Clearly that wasn't the case. We just think that they are. We also always think when there's free agents out there, like, oh, well, let's go get blah, blah, blah. Let's just get him. Why don't we get him? Josh Snyder, why don't you just get this guy? Well, the other person has to want to come here as well. If they don't want to play here, the only way you can probably woo them over is to just keep throwing money at them. Go, well, I don't want to play up in Seattle because of this, and that. Well, okay, if 20 million doesn't do it, well, maybe will 25 million change your mind? How about 30? Right? So they have to have the desire to come here. Just because they're talking to them doesn't mean we're going to get them. We've got to have a reason that they want to play here. And obviously, if we start winning again, there's nothing more tantalizing and appealing to a player than to think, hey, I'd like to be part of a winning organization. We need to become a winning organization again, so that players like what DK Metcalf was saying, I want to play for a contender. That kind of hits you hard. It's like, oh, so what you're saying is you don't believe the Seahawks can contend? You don't believe in this team anymore. So, again, I guess you're on your way then. But if there is a player out there who's thinking, I want to play with a team that I feel like I have a chance to win a Super Bowl with, well, you want to make your team look like that's what you are, right? You don't want to be the Jets. You don't want to be the Titans or the Panthers. You want to be a team that people go, hey, I like what they got going up there, and I want to be a part of that and help them get over the top. Kind of like Ernest Jones. Ernest Jones was kind of cool. Maybe he was just tired of moving, but he moved around so many times. He was excited to get this deal done, and it was nice to see that work out because he was saying he wanted to be here. The Seahawks were saying they wanted him to be here, and it looked like everybody was honest about that and got it done. So at a not too terrible price either. So that worked out great. So yeah, there's been a lot of good, just overshadowed by a lot of the frustrations that we initially went through. But yeah, I'm starting to feel a lot better about things. So, all right. Well, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, I got one more question. I watched you for a long time. I remember Pops. How's Pops doing?
Oh, my dad, Kuya Burt. He's doing great. Actually, they're on their way back from a trip to Las Vegas over the weekend. Just a little getaway. I'm going to pick them up at the airport, actually. So, yeah, my mom and dad are doing just fine. They're actually looking forward to spending a little bit more time in the Philippines out there, chilling and relaxing. Now that both my girls are kind of finishing up playing volleyball and all that, they're kind of like, well, I think we're going to go and have some chill out time. So, yeah, they're doing great. But looking forward to my dad will be back with me to go to games and stuff. So, looking forward to what's to come in 2025. So, yes, thanks for asking. I appreciate that, man.
Have a great night, everybody.
All right, you too. Thank you. Good night. Go Hawks. All right. Well, let me see. We got a few more minutes left before we wrap things up. Let me go back to let's go to Bridget. Bridget, I think was chatting earlier. I had to mute the mic because there was some noise going out of there. But let's go to the Discord. Let me try to talk to Bridget. Bridget, are you still here, Bridget?
I think you know who this is.
What? That was you? I don't know Bridget. I know
because
Jade.
My original, no, there's a problem. My original Discord name got leaked.
Okay.
So I changed my name just to
Oh,
kind
you
of
threw
be
me
like,
off. I was like, I don't know this Bridget.
Surprise!
Oh, I did know. Yeah, just a surprise.
No,
Well,
that was a video game. That wasn't chatting. That was a video
gotcha.
game. I was playing Spider-Man. I took all the copyright stuff out, and there you go. You're fine.
Okay.
You're not going to get a strike.
Gotcha. Got it. Okay. Well, it's
Oh
good
my
to see you.
God.
I haven't talked to you in a while. But
No,
how are
I'm
you
getting ready
feeling?
for the corners to kind of open
I
up
know.
on the 20th.
I know. Can you believe that the games are only like, what are we like?
March 27th, Mariners,
2.5 weeks
Sacramento
away?
Athletic.
That's crazy. Hey, oh, yeah. Tyler Parcher is here in the house as well. Well, let me start with you, Jade, just to get I know you're a very emotional fan. I know you get very extreme reactions. So I'm curious where your emotions swung and where you reside right now in terms of the emotion level with this team.
You got to give me a topic, and I'll give it to you.
Okay, all right. Let's start with Geno Smith to the Raiders. Yay or nay?
I I had been very neutral with, but when he did that first game against Russell, he did really good. It was like the Broncos, and that game was actually on my birthday. The Broncos, Seahawks, Monday Night Football.
Yes, that was a pretty nice, shocking thing. I got to interrupt you. So we've got breaking news, and actually you guys broke it for me here in the chat. Started with CJ Starling. We got Will Freeze. Seahawks Top Dog says Will Freeze signed. If this is truly the case, I'm looking for an official, post here. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking. Where is it? But if that is the case, that means Seattle has just landed themselves a veteran offensive interior lineman, Will Freeze. And I'm just looking for some kind of official post, which I haven't seen yet, but I'll trust you guys are telling me what's going on. So, all right, if that's the case, Will Freeze here to the Seahawks. Yeah, that's amazing. If that's really what happened, this is exactly what we need. So, okay, sorry to interrupt you, Jay, but I had to put that breaking news out there. All right, so all right. So Geno initially impressed you, but
yeah, we didn't make it to the playoffs. That was sad. But the best thing is
the first year we did. First year we did. Remember, we went to the.
No, I'm talking about this past season.
Oh, this season. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because my boyfriend's team actually stole our spot.
Right.
Damn Rams fan.
Yes, that's right.
Philly took their actually eliminated them. So Chinese Philly fan.
Nothing yet.
Yes. Right. So, okay. So yeah, not the greatest season this year. We've 2 years of no playoffs. So yeah, when it was announced, were you relieved? Were you happy to see him go?
I was like, okay, there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out.
Oh, okay. So you were not one of those like, what the hell we're doing? You're like, hallelujah, it's about time, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, because I know Geno's neutral with people I know. It's like you love them, you hate them.
Okay. All right. So that didn't bother you. Unlike most of us, a lot of us Geno supporters were kind of like, that's too bad. But the DK thing, what's your feeling about your DK? Were you okay with that? Oh my
God. I was so PO'd because I don't know if I can say the original word. My older brother, he just turned 29 at the end of last month. Steelers fan, and he just grills me to the core. He's like, hey, thanks for DK. And I'm just like, because I actually gave him the bird on FaceTime. Why do everybody have to come after me? It's like us Seahawks fans have to suffer at other hands.
Hey, you should tell Norb what we're doing on Wednesday.
Oh, me and him are actually...
Me and Jane are going to the game.
Which game? The Kraken?
Kraken versus Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, look at that. That's cool.
Yeah, I've been a ticket holder.
Yep, going with my brother and my cousin.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. Wow. First time going to a game together, right?
Yeah.
I've been to a...
I know you've been to games separately, but actually going to the same game. Are you guys going to actually try to meet up at the game?
Possibly, but I can't walk around as much because I have a boot on my foot.
Oh, what the heck?
Probably not, because I'm going to be with family.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So you'll be sharing communally the experience together, but not like you're actually going to the game together, like in the same vehicle. Hey, we're at the game together. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm getting mixed reactions here because people are saying I can't find it. I hadn't seen it yet. Some people are saying the chat's lying about Will Freeze. Daniel Kirk says it's true. Russell Ayers says it's confirmed. 3 years, up to $55 million.
Ooh.
I have to
But
look.
Andrew says, "What's the source?" Daniel Kirk, look it up on Google. I just Googled it. I'm looking it up. I still haven't seen the confirmation yet.
Let me check Twitter.
I was on Twitter looking too.
Will Freeze.
I'm trying to see if this is breaking news. I'm seeing that they're a target. I haven't seen a confirmation
yet. Target. He's in free agency, so he's not. This is not confirmed.
I haven't seen a confirmation yet, but
No,
I see
it's
more than
not
one person on the
confirmed,
chat
no.
saying that it's true. So I don't know where you guys are hearing
It's
this
not
from.
been
But
confirmed. I mean, it's not confirmed. I mean, he's testing free agency. Tomorrow's free agency, so
right.
there is nothing confirmed yet. So I would just wait and not get our hopes up. I mean, if we get Will Freeze, great, but Justin Fields is not a free agent. He got actually the Jets got him.
Yeah, well, good luck, Justin Fields, because we know what happens when quarterbacks go to the Jets.
Oh my God, they suck. All right, I know you. I know I'm very large. And if you got any other questions, you can ask him.
So we talked about DK already. You were pissed off. You were okay with Geno.
Yes.
Oh, Sam Darnold, our new quarterback. How do you feel about Sam?
I actually got what I wanted. Unlike last year where Penix was like, okay.
It wasn't his fault he got drafted, I know you wanted Penix. I wanted Penix, but
yes,
that would have been pretty cool.
I actually wanted Darnold. I didn't even want Rodgers. I hate Rodgers. He's washed up. Just hang up the coat. Goodbye. Darnold. Please, I wanted him. I was like, please get him. I'm like,
you wanted him as soon as Geno was let go. Your immediate thought was, let's get Sam Darnold this year. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely, because I'm like, after how he played in the playoffs, I'm like, if Seattle actually gives him a chance, I'm like, please give me Darnold instead.
Okay, all right. Well, you got your wish, so you're kind of 2 out of 3. I mean, the DK one was the only one you weren't happy about, but I guess everything else kind of worked out.
I felt like I was slapped in the face.
DK is an interesting one, right? Because I feel
know. It's a half and half. People are happy he's gone. Some people are like, I want him to stay.
For me, it's just that feeling like I feel like there's a better, just like Geno in the same ways. I feel like the potential was never fully tapped, and we just never quite unlocked it. And I just don't want to, if he does the same stuff with the Steelers and pretty much everywhere else he goes, and he doesn't really peak to some greater level, then I'll be like, okay, well, you know what? We kind of got, I guess, what he was truly worth. But it would really bum me out if he goes to the Steelers and just lights it up. I mean, that would just be so frustrating. Like half of all the Mariners players who ever leave Seattle, they go on to win World Series with other teams and have record years. That's kind of like, I don't want that to start happening with all of our Seahawks players that leave us. So anyway, I'm not exactly rooting for a big success for DK just because A, he pretty much says he wanted to go. B, he kind of pissed on Tyler Lockett's day of thank you. He got to enjoy 30 minutes of the Seahawks thanking Tyler Lockett before DK went and said, I want to trade, by the way. And that just completely snuffed out his sort of final day of celebration. That wasn't cool.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Next year's going to be interesting. And we'll play DK. That's the best part, I guess. We're reunited. Well, you're going to have to boo him when we're going to be in Pittsburgh. Or potentially, we could be playing Pittsburgh overseas. In that, where are we playing? Over in... I
mean, I have to check.
What's that? Where are we playing over in... I forgot what country are we playing in that potentially Pittsburgh could have. Do you guys know that I was talking about in the chat? What was the additional country that we played Brazil Ireland, for the first time? It's Dublin. Yes, Ireland. That's my Ireland. Yes, in Ireland. That would be pretty cool. Playing the Seahawks and the Steelers met up in Dublin, Ireland.
Oh my God.
We'd be crazy. Crazy. Lucky Charms. Oh wait, that's a different country. Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. So, anyway, all right. Well, it seems like people are a lot more positive today than they were like last week.
Yeah, you forgot Lockett.
Oh, it's such a foregone conclusion. I forgot about Lockett. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You weren't surprised, honest, were you?
Seattle could possibly do this: is they could bring him back under a new deal. But I honestly grew up with Lockett. He was my childhood, and I remember just like Super Bowl 48, and I just have his jersey, and I'm just like, because not a lot of people wore Lockett, because Russell and LLB, they were the big thing. I was wearing Lockett.
Yeah. Well, Lockett came in, the LLB was still in effect, right? But he came in right after that Super Bowl loss. And I remember, I saw him in person the first time he ever touched the football. I was actually at that game. It was the opening game against the Rams in St. Louis at that time. And I was sitting in the end zone.
Oh, yeah, when they were the
And I saw Tyler Lockett. I had a good end zone view. Tyler Lockett was a punt returner. First touch, he takes it. He was fast, and he took it to the house, did a little jig dance and stuff. And now we're going, oh my God, this is our new draft pick. I heard his interview. I loved him. So
me and my brother were just absolutely hugging each other. We're just like, oh my God, oh my God. You know, he's like, I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. So my one brother, Danny, Seahawks fan, and I'm just like hugging, and we're just like, oh my God, because we were just like little kids.
So it was a cool break coming out party.
Yeah, this is my childhood falling apart.
But then, unfortunately, we lost that game. I went to see 2 games in St. Louis, and we lost both of them in very heartbreaking fashion.
I think
so.
When I became a ticket member myself, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to travel. It's too dangerous, and you just don't know the fan base. It's like, I'm not going to hate on
I have
Philly
a funny
for this.
story. Speaking of it, wasn't like an altercation because a lot of it stuff is, I think how you carry yourself and you interact with the fans is kind of how they bring it to you. So I'm always very friendly around the people around me just because I'm not looking for trouble. Yeah. Plus, I don't drink. So, usually the trouble happens when you drink a few and all of a sudden you start turning into an a-hole. But, one funny thing happened the first time in St. Louis. So we're out there just enjoying, watching the game. It's probably like second quarter. And then these security guards come up to me. And they're, excuse me, sir, we need you to come with us. I was like, my first thought is, oh crap, I'm in trouble because I was live streaming because I had my camera. Actually, it wasn't even live streaming. That was back when there wasn't even live streaming. I was just recording my reaction, and I thought, because I thought maybe that's what they had me for. So they take me out, and I'm like, no idea what I'm in trouble for. They walk me out to the concourse, and I'm just thinking, I said, is there a problem? He goes, well, we had a call saying that a Seahawks fan fitting your description was smoking weed in the stands. And I was like, God,
dude, it's like they were trying to get you kicked out.
No, the thing is, I'm wearing my Seahawks gear. I got my face painted. I'm wearing the green. I'm the only guy with the green hair thing. So guess how hard it would be to contact a security guard to point me out. Section 125, there's a guy with green hair. He's smoking weed. You might want to go check it out. So they were just effing me with me, right? So they look at me. I said, look at my face. Take a sniff of me. Do you smell or see anything that resembles a guy smoking pot?
You have the blue and the green, if I'm correct.
I had the blue and the green, had the hair. I mean, it's easy target.
Hair, green's there.
Probably, yeah. It was that.
Because I remember, when I was a kid, I was watching you because you would do it at the games, and I wasn't old enough to be a ticket member. So you would always have the paint on, and I'm just like, the paint, the face hair, and I'm like,
the hair definitely stands out. Anyways,
I just started doing this.
Yeah, so this whoever was just trying to they were just trying to mess with me. I was like, okay, so they let me back in. It was fine, but I was really nervous. I was like, oh God, are they gonna take my camera? Are they gonna bust me for some illegal videotaping? And luckily, it was just it was some guy, just some fan messing with me. Anyway, so Daniel Kirk now admits, who was one saying it was true. So some guy really freaking faked us out on Twitter. So somebody put up a fake post saying that this whole 3-year, $55 million. So. Maybe it can still happen. He's a target for sure, but it hasn't happened yet. So there we go. We're still waiting. Anyway, so I guess that's kind of it. Well, I mean, we also signed Jones and Jaron Reed.
Jaron Reed. Yeah, we signed him back.
That's kind of like a solid. It's not like but we had to get Ernest Jones. I mean, that was a must-do. So I'm glad we got that.
That was like, please.
I was like, okay.
I'm just really scared for this season. I want to do good. I want to get back in the playoffs under Mike McDonald because I know the Cooper Kupp thing. I looked that up. They're saying that if he doesn't get a trade by Wednesday, he's going to be cut because tomorrow's free agency.
Yeah, it officially starts tomorrow. It's funny how everything's happening before the official thing, but all the deals are being talked about, and it's funny how it's actually happening before it actually is supposed to be happening. But that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, March 27th. This is going to be worn. I heard I'm wearing the Cal Riley.
Pretty wild. I can't believe it's baseball season already.
I'm back.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, Mark. I had to mute my mic because I had a phone call.
Oh, that's no problem.
You're fine.
Anyway, I think we're we got that. I'm glad I got to cover all the emotional responses you had from all the free agency signings or
if
trades.
Cooper Kupp comes to Seattle, I'm gonna roast my boyfriend.
That'd be pretty cool. I actually, the more I think about that, the more I like it if the number's right.
Yeah, he went a little crazy.
Here's a question for you guys. If you had to choose one, and both Tyler Lockett and Cooper Kupp at the same price, both said, I will play for you guys, which one would you take?
I gotta take Lockett. I really can't. I mean, he's a great guy. I mean, first Bobby Wagner goes.
Okay,
I remember when Doug...
All right, but answer this question without the emotional attachment. You got to take away the 10 years, take away that part, and just go, which receiver would be better to play for us for like 1 year or just some, the shortest term possible? If you wanted one to be the higher impact, do you think Tyler Lockett would have a higher impact, or do you think Cooper Kupp could actually help this team? This is the question for the chat as well, so you guys can answer this question too. If you guys, I'm curious what you guys think.
Because he always does the tippy toes, and it's like, I mean, there's no way I could do that.
The toe drag swag.
Yeah,
Aaron Kidd says Kupp.
I saw
Norb, I'll be sure. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no.
I'll be sure to get video for you when I go.
Yeah.
Okay.
The game.
Yeah. All right. It's kind of sad the way the Kraken season has gone. Obviously, done.
We just got Kako from the Rangers, and my brother wrote this, and it's pretty funny. Hold on.
While you're doing that, so let's see. We got some votes coming in. Aaron says Kupp. Base Tugboat 2675 says Lockett. Narendra says Kupp. True. So honestly, I don't know how much either of them have left. Esteban says objectively Kupp. Grid flow Kupp. So right now, most of the chat is pretty much like 5-1 saying they would rather have Kupp. I mean, he is younger, right? Kupp is a couple years younger than, I don't know how old he is, but I feel like he's a couple years younger
Tyler
than.
Lockett is 32 years old.
Cooper Kupp's got to be younger than that. Anybody know the age of Cooper Kupp?
Kupp is 31 years old.
Oh, so they're actually closer than I thought. They're only like a year apart.
Yeah.
So they're really very similar, which kind of makes sense why their kind of productivity is kind of going on the same
he's actually
pace.
from Yakima, Washington. That's crazy.
Oh, I knew that. That's what I was saying. My business partner, Mike, because he grew up in that central area of Washington.
my God.
And that's why he had his best friend was Kyle Kupp growing up, and he was related to Cooper Kupp. So...
Oh my God! This is what my brother wrote to me when he sent me the Kraken jersey of Capo Kako.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Reminds me of Die Hard. Now I have a machine gun.
Home Alone slogan.
I am not a Rangers fan, and I'm like, the Rangers keep killing all our good players.
So Tyler,
Jay's back in here. We don't need another slot receiver, says Peter.
Not much.
Bro.
Daniel Kirk.
No,
Lockett
the DC
rarely gets
trip
hurt.
was so fun too.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did go to the nation's capital.
Minus the we were the day of when we were going down, and then that plane crash happened in DC.
Were you in town when the plane crash took place? You were there when it happened?
No, I wasn't. I was in Bellingham getting ready to go to Seattle when it happened.
Oh, so you were on your way right before or right after it happened. Oh, that's scary though. That was scary.
But the airport was open. We got through and everything. And
I went to San Francisco just a couple days ago.
You were where?
I went to San Francisco not too long ago.
Oh, okay. Bay Area.
I was watching the Warriors game. I was like the Warriors were starting 9-0. I'm like, bro, this is a good start. The Pistons go at us all game. 30 seconds remain. Draymond Green takes a three. I'm like, do not shoot that. You're not that guy. Somehow he makes it, and I almost fell out of my seat.
So the Pistons, I don't really follow the NBA. The Pistons
the Warriors ended up winning. The
Warriors did win. So they had no point lead, but then they almost squandered it, and they won it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
Hey, night, people. Don't poke the bear. Never. Isaiah still was like this, like pushing like this. Okay, I was like, he's like this. Boom. Like, bear, you never do that ever again. Never.
Don't poke the bear. We gotta poke DK though. When we play DK, we have to keep poking that bear because you get under his skin and drive DK nuts, and he'll lose it.
Bro,
we can get him kicked out of the game like Puka Nacua got kicked out of that Rams game. Got to get them all riled up.
I got mad at that game. That game, I got roasted by my boyfriend. He was just like, "Oh,
should have won that game. That was the playoffs. That cost us the playoffs. That game."
Lines and he's like, because Jay actually talked to him. He's just like, "I'm gonna roast my girl when she comes home."
Yep. And we lost the game we shouldn't have, so it's like you gotta wear that when that happens. Like, my team blew it.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. Well, we don't talk about that anymore. That season's past. That
Giants.
era is behind us now. We're gonna move forward and hope for better things in 2025.
Are you gonna go on opening day this year, Norb?
I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
It's not until the 27th, which is a Thursday.
It's coming up in like 17 days, right? Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
This week is going by quick. It's going by quick. I'm telling you.
Let me see here. What does the 27th even look like for me?
It's a Thursday.
Oh, I got a bunch of productions going on that day. I'm probably not.
He's a busy boy.
I'm going to be running all over Seattle, shooting with a camera, doing a bunch of stuff, working with the United Way of King County. So, got a gig that day. So probably not in the cards because we'll be have shot all day long. So, well, hey guys, I'm gonna let you guys keep chatting over on the Discord, but I'm gonna break off here, probably put some final thoughts and wrap this baby up. But it's good chatting with you, Jay, and
hey man,
and Tada.
Yeah. Surprised that I was under a new name, and you
Yeah,
just were
I
like,
know,
"Oh,
threw me
who's
off.
this?"
Wait, oh, you know what? I never got this guy. I don't think. Did I get you on here? Hold on a second. Let me just chat real quick. He's got the. Oh my gosh, he's got the former receiver's jersey. Are you here? Do you want to share your thoughts now that you got? Are you one of those sad people who just bought a DK throwback jersey and now it's like, oh.
That was me one time.
I'm sorry for your loss. That's all I gotta say.
What do you mean your loss? What do you mean your loss?
I don't know what to say.
Oh my god!
Is it your loss too? Because you're wearing the. You obviously somebody spent money for that jersey.
It's
now
expensive. I bought it in a preseason, like last year.
Man, that's crazy. Wait,
you know what though? It's actually okay. People wear old jerseys all the time, right? You got people walking around with Sean Alexander jerseys and Matt Hasselbeck jerseys and Russell Wilson jerseys. That's cool, you know. It's not current, but hey, you know it's going to happen eventually. But it's a throwback. It looks good. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna question.
Jay's got a question.
Yeah, real quick. I'm gonna wrap this up.
Okay.
What's up?
Okay. You know, quick thing. Please don't say my government name. I highly request that. Because when you talk about the chat, I just don't like when other people don't call my government.
Oh, you're talking me like your first and last name?
Yeah, I don't like.
Oh, okay. I'll just go by Jay then. Just Jay.
Yes, please.
That's all I want. I will only call you Jay. Wasn't that a Men in Black thing? Didn't in Men in Black they only went by one letter? I think that was Will Smith and those guys. I think it was like,
you
this
can
is Agent J.
You can call me by that one. I don't really care. Just don't
I'll call you Agent J. Oh, speaking of another guy, we got Sutton Hawk in the house. Sutton Hawk was on the phone line.
He had his birthday last month.
Yeah, happy belated, man, again.
Happy late birthday, gang.
Hey, yeah, so real quick, Sutton Hawk, since we did chat on the phone last time, talking about the initial reaction. Now, here we are a few days later. Different feel to it all. Are you okay with where we are right now?
I'm pretty sure I am 100% fine with where we at. Because we just signed Sam Darnold, the guy who led the Vikings to the playoffs last year. Well, I'm pretty happy about that.
Okay, we'll just pretend the playoff game didn't happen, and we'll feel really good about how he's looking for a quarterback for Seattle. More important thing is, how does Hamilton feel about the moves that the Seahawks have made? Oh, Hamilton's happy. Look at the smile on his face. Hello. Oh, Hamilton's so cute, little corgi.
He's like, what do you want? He's like, what do you guys want?
Look at that. Look at that baloney tongue. Is Hamilton happy?
Yeah, he's happy about.
Is he happy about Sam Darnold? Oh,
I wish dogs can talk so they can
he's
expect
so happy. Oh, he's in a happy, friendly mood. He usually doesn't look at the camera like that. But it has been a while. Huh, Hamilton?
Yeah. So then, if you look at his reactions, like it was like, why am I talking to Norb right now?
He doesn't even know what he's looking at. He doesn't even recognize that he's talking to anybody. He's just like, when are you going to feed me? All right, I'm going to wrap this up, guys, but I appreciate chatting with you guys. Glad to hear there's some positivity back in the air because, last week was rough, but I feel like people are feeling a little bit better. We just got to, chill, right? We do have to let these things play out, and hopefully all will be fine.
You got to let the draft play out.
Yeah, it's just hard to say goodbye.
Are you doing anything for the draft, Norb? Because if not, I'll take over on my server.
Draft day, watch party.
Yeah, I'll definitely do some draft streaming for day one for sure. I got to see what the Seahawks are going to do on that pick 18 on day one. It's going to be so interesting to see what they do. So, but everybody could do their own streams. But yeah, for sure, I'll be streaming something on that first day. So,
all right.
Hey, Seahawks, draft me.
Draft me too.
Who keeps joining late?
All right, I'm gonna let you guys have at it, but it's good to chat with you guys, catching up. Appreciate it. So, well, again, it's a nice way to finish this. Well, when I finish, we just like a nice way to finish the free agency period, because it's been a doozy. But officially things start tomorrow, so maybe we'll get some news like that. A Will Freeze announcement would be kind of nice. I would love to see a lineman go to Seattle and just have that need addressed right away, so that the draft we can feel like, okay, now we can do whatever. We could go with a receiver, we can go tight end, we can just kind of just address the other needs that we have. So hopefully we got the money. We got the cap space now. So come on, John Schneider and company, let's go get one done. Let's get one veteran, true, like stud offensive lineman. That would be such a nice thing to get right now. So, all right, well, that's it. Thank you guys for joining me for this last hour. Well, hour and 40 minutes. Actually, time flies when you're having fun. Appreciate everybody who super chatted, especially. Thank you for supporting my channel. Appreciate the comments, and I always say it's kind of therapeutic for me to be able to just talk these things out with other fans, Seahawks fans, and get some of these, thoughts off, because a lot of times I'm stuck with them on my own when I'm working or whatever, and I'm just like, oh my god, say what just happened? I gotta share those with somebody. I gotta vent. And today is actually a little more of a peaceful, like, okay, all right, things are coming together. It's not too bad. It's not the end of the world. It's all good. All right, there'll be more to come. We'll see what happens in free agency, as this is just getting started. This is just a pre-funk. Tomorrow, things really, well, not tomorrow, but Wednesday, things really get real. So it's going to be fun. This is just a sign of things to come, but hopefully in the end, it's something better than we did last year. So that is it. I will see you guys later. Take it easy, and till next time, go Hawks.
Yo, I'm Ken Walker, running back for the Seattle Seahawks.
Tyler Lockett from the Seattle Seahawks. DK Metcalf. KJ Wright. Hey, Burleson. You're watching NORBFAM. You're watching NORBFAM.